You do look like you Rasta. You look like you have dreads under
Right?
your beanie. Hi. So welcome to our podcast. We're supposed to do an intro. I'm Dani.
And I'm James Money.
And this is the 808 Viral Podcast. We finally made a podcast to talk about all the crazy shit that happens on 808 Viral. All the things that we see and we hear, and we're just not going to hold back on any of it.
We will delve and dig into the craziness that is social media, mainly in Hawaii, but, we'll go all over. We'll look at some viral videos. We'll touch on some social media battles and, see what we can come
viral
up with.
Content, like something goes viral and there's a beef.
Yes.
We may bring them on. If somebody that feels that they're being treated unfairly and they have a side they'd like to tell, we're going to bring them on. Let's be honest, there's so many food podcasts. Everybody's got such well-produced podcasts, and we don't like overproducing things.
It needs to be genuine. Like, we're not about, like these talk shows where they make everything look amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just us two talking about what we see. And some of you might agree with us. Some of you, a lot of you won't.
Yeah, we have a responsibility with the platform, and that's something I recognize, and I want people to know who's behind it. Like, it's not just one person's, it's a group of people, and we're going to have them all on here. You're going to see their
Yes.
It's important that you know where they're from, who they are, what they stand for, so that you know that there's never and people that we keep each other in check. Right? There's accountability, because if I post something and everybody disagrees, they're going to tell me, Dani, what the hell? Why did you post that? I mean,
I do that to you myself.
I know. James is the best, because you're my favorite person to talk shit, and you'll tell it like it is. So I know that when other people are just kind of like trying to be nice about it, like, you're just going to tell me the truth. And same with everybody else. We all kind of keep each other in check, or if someone disagrees with me or tries to get me to see another side. I'm a really big person on, like, you have to see all sides and challenge your own point of view every time. That's something that's really important to us on 808 Viral. Like, we need to make sure that everything that, if I have something passionate about something, I have to stop and I have to take the opposition side and I have to think about it for a minute and go, really, like, and we have to do that for each other all the time, because we're not always right, and I'm a know-it-all, and I don't like being wrong. And I especially don't like being wrong about being wrong. So if I'm wrong, I want to know I'm wrong so I can be right about being right.
Right.
So I can be right about being wrong.
Oh, you were just wrong right there.
Right? See?
Yeah, and I think that's cool. I think like, I have an issue. So those of you that don't know, I'm a stand-up comedian, and stand-up comedians are very cynical and
Really? Who knew?
So, like,
Trigger warning.
a lot of times we roll our eyes at a lot of things, like, and I have friends who work in the morning news and whatnot, and I love them very much, but then I have a hard time watching them because it seems very generic in that, oh, that's so lovely, that's so beautiful, I love this. And it's like, do you really though? I mean, as a comedian, that's what we always ask. Do you really though? Which is why a lot of stand-up comedians hate doing those kind of promos. I hope I don't get cut from doing these promos because it helps sell tickets. But the news, other podcasts, and I'm not hating on people's podcasts. It's just that I get a hard time when I can't.
Right now, you're like, and I love everybody's podcast. I'm not really hating on that.
Well, that's a disclaimer. So, I mean, this is episode 1 or 2. We don't know, but we're early in our 808 the Viral podcast life. So I don't want to get canceled right away, but
give it a couple episodes.
And this is why I like social media, because the other people will make videos talking about why that original video was wrong, or the person's point of view is wrong, and or how they feel that it's wrong. It may not be incorrect, but they have a different opinion on things. And that's what I love about social media and podcasting. This will be our unfiltered was it straight dope opinion. That's how Dani feels. That's how I feel. Our guests, when they come on, how they feel. Hopefully, they feel comfortable enough to let it out. Cat Williams, that shit.
Man, maybe it's an age thing for us, or maybe it's just a sign of the times of how much shit we've been putting up with the last 4 years. Yeah. I'm just tired of I'm exhausted of censoring myself or holding back all the time. I just feel like, when this is a cultural thing in Hawaii, I think too, when you're raised here, everybody, we would talk about just shit behind the scenes, but at the end of the day, there's certain things you just never say and you would never do. And social media has changed that, and now we are, the rules are out the window, which is a good and a bad thing. I still feel like we need to remember, if I wouldn't say this thing to this person's face, would I say this on social media? Is that okay? And sometimes you got to take it off social media too. I think that going straight to social media when we have fights is a bad thing. The first thing we want to do is get emotional and call everybody out and weaponize our friends and family to be on our side so we can, it's just a terrible way to handle, especially in the state that's literally is the founding, on the principles of conflict resolution. Literally the birthplace of conflict resolution is Ho'oponopono. Right? And that's not a lot of that happening these days. The only time we talk about it is when some crazy person is misusing it for profit on the internet on some Midwest commune or cult, Yeah. But if you didn't know, anyone listening to this who's not from here, Ho'oponopono, I'm not even going to try to define it because if I get it wrong, it's a very sensitive subject. This is just about the same as you can't mispronounce musubi here. There's a handful of things that you just don't do in Hawaii if you don't want to trigger somebody or piss them off. One of them is don't F with Ho'oponopono.
Wait, you've been swearing all this time. Why did you not swear that time?
I was afraid to put those two words together.
Oh.
Felt it was disrespectful to do so.
Because they don't mess with. How about that?
Mess with it.
Yeah.
And so I'm not even going to try because I feel, but it's basically, the root of it is conflict resolution. It's basically how Hawaiians resolved conflict. And it's a beautiful thing. And it's a really effective thing because you walk away squashing the beef. You know what I mean? And it's been misinterpreted by a lot of different people, but it's just kind of hard to see. And I feel like we need to, I hope that people get back to the point of having conversations again, because there's a lot of internal fighting lately going on. And that's,
is this an ancient Hawaiian thing or is this a modern Hawaiian thing?
It's an ancient Hawaiian thing.
So what happens with when you mess with the chiefs though? I thought they get their heads bashed in or something.
That's a good.
What
should have a cultural practitioner on here to talk about Ho'oponopono.
Yeah, because I come from the culture where it's good to be the chief. The chief gets everything, and everybody's part of a community. The Samoan tradition, we still have a chief. The government can't step on the chief, rules and whatnot in Samoa. So I remember in history books, you break kapu and you were killed. As far as the Hawaiian that I was taught. So, and I'm not making a statement. I'm asking questions because I don't know. So I'm wondering. So yeah, if we get somebody out there who has any opinions on that.
I think we should stop talking about this right now. I think this is a good bookmark.
Yeah. So we get a historian in here and be like, no.
I know quite a few Hawaiian language teachers and practitioners that we could have on here one day, and then we can literally make a list of all of these things of this conversation.
So if you guys have questions too, let us know. We could ask whoever we bombard with all these. We're gonna be like that 5-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Do you know? Where did the birds come from?
But what do you think the bird would say if the bird saw another bird?
If if the bird if the bird flew from California and came to Hawaii, and the birds in Hawaii spoke Hawaiian, would the bird from California speak Spanish?
Would they understand each other? How would they communicate?
Or is it?
I don't know. We should
Hmm.
ask them like all these random questions that nobody's ever asked them before, but like good stuff. But like like you just said, like what happens if you piss it? Like the chief does something wrong, or the king did something wrong, and one of the subjects called on Ho'oponopono. What would happen to them? For real?
But- So this is legit in Samoa, the culture. Let's say somebody in my family killed somebody in another family. So my chief will go over to that family and ask for forgiveness. Until they say they forgive, that chief will cover himself with mats and in front of their house and stay there until either they die, the chief dies, or the family forgives them.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the bad part about being the chief.
Now, if that happened now, if that was like how we actually were just in everyday life, we'd all be dead.
Right. Well, our chiefs will.
You have to wait for someone to forgive you, or or someone to say they're sorry. And there's people that are so petty they're never gonna do that. Like never, never, ever, ever. And you're just gonna sit there and die.
Yeah, in front of their house. I'm like, all right, I guess this is where my life ends.
Yeah, because I know that I know that beach. She's way too petty, and she will never, never, never forgive me.
Next on Housewives of Pango Pango, Chief Junior, Sam Junior, is outside of Marina's house, and she is not gonna forgive him because that bitch don't take no shit from no one. Can you forgive my family? Oh hell no! I'm waiting for you to start talking so I can stop this act that I'm putting on.
Oh my God. This is like we should definitely do something where we talk about how what if there was social media applying like old things till today and today things to yesterday. Like how would that go down?
I got one. Like up on the poly. Oh, we throwing people off selfie.
Oh yeah, can you imagine?
Hashtag Kamehameha one.
You know, if you think about it, the overthrow probably would never happen because then the queen could have been on social media like they got guns out there. They're trying to take this shit over. I need a GoFundMe. We need to raise money, raise an army. And then everybody would back her up and they would have come out and like that would happen.
They get one of those soldiers doxxed.
Oh yeah, they started doxing everybody, like exposing them because those guys were cheating on their wives, so they brought out the mistresses and all the legitimate children, like this, like oh gosh, because locals are like the FBI when it comes to social media.
Okay,
they would have had all the information on these guys, and it would all come out.
Oh, they'd have ancient Hawaiians on the beach recording Captain Cook's boat. Hey, look, Lono coming back. Is that Lono?
This baka, you came back. If only. Social media would have made a lot of difference, obviously, if everybody had a voice at one point. That's the benefit, right? Because everybody has a voice now. Not everybody deserves one sometimes. I mean, I swear it's like a bunch of people sitting at the adult table that don't belong there.
Yes.
And it's crazy how people listen. There's this whole thing now where it's like everybody's taking the underdog position, even if the underdog is a complete nutbag. Like,
yeah, there's this country that elected a whole president over stuff like that.
Yeah, right. And this is the crazy part. It's like I almost get it because our government's made such a mess for so long that they're willing to like. And this is kind of what's happening here in Hawaii too. Like, and I've been saying this all along. If you don't like the people that are speaking, better pick your voice up because there's a really great speech. And I love this movie, The American President. You remember that movie?
Mm-hmm.
And it was Michael J. Fox's character, and he told the president, "You need to speak up." They're like, "Hi," because I don't know anybody an explanation about my personal life. Well, in the absence of what is it? People are so thirsty. In the absence of water, they'll drink the sand. What's happening now is, our government's just fucked up so bad that just anybody else that's speaking any kind of truth, and even if it's only 5% of the truth, but they're speaking it well, and they're echoing it's basically like there's, you almost have to like to choose between the lesser of two evils at this point, because so the other people that are trying to gain power also have their own agendas, and there's the people that truly need to be in power are not getting the opportunity.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And also, that's the bad part about, I guess, social media and popularity, where the people who are getting in aren't necessarily the right people for the job, but the more popular person for the job.
Right.
Yeah, it happens in the comedy world too.
No, we were just talking about, well, and you know what it really is, and all of us at some point, you included, have all worked for high profile people, with and for high profile people, and in industries where we get to be behind the scenes of a lot of things that we've seen. And my conclusion is that 90% of the people that you idolize or are in power are assholes. They're not good people. They're really, really not. Not people to be emulated. They just have they're usually hugely narcissistic, and they can be wonderful people when you're going along with them, you're giving what they want, but they're very, very not good people when that opposite. So, but we're seeing a shift starting to happen. I think people are starting to get that now, but it's and the people that are, I think, that truly should be getting all of the attention. And we have so many talented people that deserve the recognition, that have always taken this kind of backseat, and they're humble, they're humble people, are starting to get thicker skins.
Yeah. If you give somebody enough rope, they'll eventually, hang themselves. Where that's what's happening is, so a lot of people that on social media that you guys liked at first, and are finding out, wow, the person really isn't what I thought they were, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm not a fan of theirs and too much anymore, but they're still popular because there's so many people that fell in the same trap. The ones that really got to watch for is the one that are really smart at reinventing themselves.
Chameleons.
Yes, chameleons. And all of a sudden,
narcissists, very good at that.
Yeah, there's a new page, but they don't know that was the same person from before. It just, the title has changed, because you don't see who's creating the post or who's posting.
Oh, the anonymous pages, like the faceless.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge problem in Hawaii, and I could go on and on about that, and I'm not going to start that up today. But there's a couple of pages out there that people don't realize completely reinvented themselves, and that they've never been public, and there's a very good reason why they're not. Let's just put it that way. It's too small of a community here for this kind of stuff, and it's kind of shocking to me, how quickly somebody can negatively influence a community, and nobody knows who they are. Like we know who they are, but not the public.
Be careful who you follow.
I invite them on here. Show your face.
Yes.
And they have a lot to say. The funniest part is they're biggest shit talkers, and some of the things that they say are the things they're actually doing. That's the crazy part. It's like, bro, gotten to that age where I just don't give a shit anymore. I'm not going to hold back. I'm not going to keep it. I got a Dropbox full of information, James. I'm just letting you know. And you all are going to have a link to it. If anything ever happens to me, my husband's been instructed.
I was gonna say, is this a dangerous podcast that I'm on?
You don't know that I'm in the Illuminati, according to, all of these Maui conspiracy people.
Wow. I figured Illuminati have way more money.
All right. We have to live in secrecy.
It's like, oh no, I'm a broke ass Illuminati. He's like, well, why don't you get out then? It's like,
I know, right? It's not even worth it.
I was like, you have all these secrets, but none of
a great dental plan. They have a really good health plan. So I'm staying in for the health plan because their dental includes orthodontics and teeth whitening. Yeah. I got in a video, and this is funny. Someone said anytime that somebody sends a video to 808 Bar, they say, "Don't credit me," or "No credit necessary," or "No need credit me." There's either because they're ratting someone out, or they're too embarrassed and they don't want to be caught, or found.
Keep it on the low.
Yeah. And so I have a video that somebody sent. Now, I think this actually happened a while ago. because there's just something so funny about it. Because we're talking about how social media is so crazy. And you and I, we talk about this a lot, about being jaded. Like, I've gotten very jaded. I'm not going to lie. I'm waiting for myself to move through this process because, I've been doing social media for so long. Let's be honest, it's become like a gold rush, and it's not the same, as it was where we were just making content because we loved it. This video kind of embodies a little bit about this, I think, for me. Like, when I see this is what I feel like is wrong with everything right now, but in a very funny way. So I'm going to show you this video so you can react to it.
Is it that person bent over? Is that...
Hey! Like tourist soup.
Your phone
Anna is dying right now. Anna is
His phone is gone.
Look at this guy. Almost got run over by a surfer. Anna's still struggling for her life out here.
Anna's getting scraped against the reef and the rocks. It's like, no, your phone.
Flailing. Anna almost... Look, I'm going to tell you that is a friend we all need. Like, Anna had to focus on breathing, but her friend was taking care of her by watching her phone. That is a ride or die bitch right there.
I don't know. That's, I think maybe that's the person who co-signed for the account or something. It's like, we're not insured. Get your phone.
I know vacation, Anna.
I know you got all that.
Don't die.
You got all that reef rash. Your back is all jacked up and bleeding, but get the phone. Because there's proof on that phone of something that person has done that's dirty, and she wants to get
a crime
back. Yes, that Anna's friend had committed. Like, the evidence in the phone with the bank account and all the Bitcoin passwords. Get it?
Is this the video where they found the phone? Is that the same one where they found the phone?
So I know there was one there, and I believe it's this one, where some of the local guys went in and dove and found the phone and brought it back to her.
I wonder if they looked through it before they did. They're like, why was Anna's friend so desperate for her to... Sorry you're drowning, Anna, but your phone!
Oh, here's Anna and her husband, and some videos of Anna making out with some ladies. What?
Yeah, what is happening? Something was amuck. And by the way, that was a shorter clip because she said it a few more times after that. She just kept going, and another huge wave came when the video cut off. I mean, I'm assuming I'm assuming they're all alive because we didn't see anybody that died, but yeah, it just showed like, here comes another one, and I'm like, oh no, Anna.
Look at, and that's the
poor
problem
Anna's
with
phone. Yeah, well, that's kind of the problem. Like, this is one of the things that's made me jaded and a little bitter. I've had a camera in my hand since I was, 14 years. I mean, I was the girl with the camera. I was taking pictures all the time, and I'm the person that would be asked to take pictures everywhere. And I went to college for it. And so, but it wasn't like it is now. Like, if you had a camera, people looked at you because they were wondering what you were doing with a camera because not everyone had them. You know what I mean? So, and nobody was really mad unless you were like press or like paparazzi or something. Most people were kind of down to like let you take their photos, and it wasn't a big deal. Now it's like, I hate that when we go places, you and I, when we were eating dinner the other night, and normally I've been storytelling with a camera for like I said, like since I was a teenager. It's something I love to do, and now I'm we're being lumped into every other person out there that's just got to get content for everything, and it's starting to look sad because I was trying to think like, God, am I that person? Because I've always been that person, but this was before social media. I wasn't taking these photos or videos because I thought I was going to put them online. Eventually when YouTube came around, we did that. But like, documentation is important and storytelling is important. I do like that. But I see this other side of it that's become very like toxic, and where I feel like people are just, not even enjoying the moments anymore. And there's like some kind of validation. And I've been through this, so I know. Like, I'm also that person, I think, who's gone through this journey. along the way, where you have this social media does this thing, and I'm writing it right now, but it's kind of like the 5 stages of grief. I'm writing this thing about the 5 stages of social media. It's very much like the 5 stages of grief. We all kind of go through a different version of it. It's never usually in order, but it's all necessary to move through to get to a healthy place when it comes to your social media usage and your life.
Even what it spreads the information or news instantly, whereas before you had to wait till the news came on. Now you're knowing what's happening in Israel immediately. You're knowing what's happening in the colleges all across the United States instantly. Whereas before you wait till the 5:30 news to find out what's going on in the mainland or the continent.
Yeah, and you're starting to, but it's literally everywhere and everything and all the things. And were we meant to process information that fast, that much? And that's what's making everybody sad and depressed. And that's why I think this is a huge part. I know it is, but I already know this. It's a huge part of the mental health issue. I've seen what it does. I've seen what it does to people here. And that was something that took me a long time to understand. Like and you saw me ranting the other day on 808 Viral Stories. I was up in the middle of the night and I just got annoyed about something, and I'm like, it's not cute to be like get some attention on social media and then just become a raving narcissist, because I see it all the time. And there was someone told me once that it doesn't, people don't just become something. Social media brings out something that they always were. And I don't know if that's true. I do think people can become narcissistic. I've seen what looks like very humble people, whole personalities change. And not even off of a lot. I think everybody's gone viral at some point, but so I'm hoping that people are going to get better about not being so like weird about it. But man, I have watched, I have been through this so many years. And I literally have conversations with people. I'm like, I've had this with you. I said, James, if you end up like with your own Netflix specials and all of that shit, and you suddenly become an asshole, I swear to God. In fact, we're recording this right now. This is testimony. You are not an asshole right now. Not like a real asshole. You're a snarky, sarcastic comedian, but you're a good-hearted, nice, humble person right now. As of today, if you end up with some Netflix special or you become like whatever and suddenly you become an asshole, I'm bringing this video out and I'm going to share it to every person.
I'm going to be like, that wasn't me.
I'm going to do all the podcast interviews talking about, I remember when James, he's such a nice guy and he was so nice. And I should have known, because at one time we went to the bee farm and I thought he was just being so polite, standing there quietly holding the big fucking thing of bees and swarming, when in reality he's standing still because he said that we were moving around and he knew they would follow us. And so we were really human shields, and that should have been a red flag.
Well, let me tell you what, I'm going to deny it. I'm like, that guy in the video doesn't even look like me. First of all, he has a mushroom on his head. He looks like the Jamaican guys on the jellyfish on Shark Tales. No,
look how short he looks. Look, he's not even that tall in the video. Look at him.
He's only this.
He's only 4 inches tall.
But I mean, I don't think I would. I think I would still be the same jerk, but not more jerk. I think I've learned that life is about relationships. You can't take your money with you. You can't take, whatever material things with you. But you can leave stuff. I can't make diamonds or whatever, but I can make people feel a certain way so that when I'm gone, memories that they have of me will live on until eventually, a generation or two, no one will remember who I was. So, always, I know.
Thank you for depressing me. But that's what I'm saying. Like right now, you get that none of that shit is important. It's a short life. And so, yeah, we're just putting it out there. I'm just saying, because I've been through this enough. I've watched enough. I've cycled through enough people to watch how crazy that shit turns. One minute they're just seem like, or, and then you also have to wonder too, like, were they ever nice? Were they mean? I was thinking about doing a video where we ask, like a collaboration video where we ask everybody to say their nationalities. Because you know how funny it is when you ask people their nationalities here and they're like, I'm 11.3% Hawaiian, 2.5% German, 5% Scottish. How do they figure that all out?
my great great grandfather's 50% Samoan, and my great great grandfather was 25%, and then they keep having it,
Yeah.
halving it.
And that's not really how it works.
What if the drop of blood that I donate is like from my shoulder, but my hip is more Asian, but my shoulder is more Samoan. So they get the drop from my shoulder, and they're like, "Oh, you're like 80% Samoan." But then they test my hip blood, and my hip blood's like, "Nah, man, he's like only 30% Samoan because he's 40% Asian." And
Do you think your Samoan side lives in your hip?
no, it's in my shoulder. That's why I can carry
your
it.
shoulder. Why you're
Strong. That's why.
I thought it would be in your ass, but okay.
Actually, I don't have a Samoan ass. I have a.
What does a Samoan ass look like?
Samoans don't really have big asses. I have a big ass. Samoans have like big hips. So it's like big hips. So if it was standing sideways, the ass would like the letter P. But we don't have. That's not our thing.
It's more like a frog butt.
Frog butt. I never looked at a frog butt like, damn, froggy. We can lean up against the wall backwards. We can lean our back against the wall. Or a person with a big butt cannot, because their butt hits the wall and their back doesn't touch the wall. You know what I mean?
You thought about this?
I do.
You think about butts a lot. I feel like this is something we should delve into on another episode where we go and we research, and we should break it down by like 10 different cultures, and we should see like how their butts are. Like, because I have my thoughts. Then you can actually break it down, like that butt is your whatever side, and the arms are more like those are Filipino arms, or those are Filipinos have toes. They have the toes that can grab things, like monkey toes, right?
Okay, so that's funny right
Filipino
there.
friends can pick up some crazy shit with their feet. Have you ever seen that?
I've seen it with the non-Filipino, but what are Filipino arms?
I don't know. I just popped it. I started thinking of extremities, and it was the first one that came to mind. But then I thought their toes are really like superpower. They like
fingers.
Yeah, like they can grab. They're like bats. They can hang upside down from a tree with those toes.
So
Seriously?
they're like, oh look, what's that hanging upside down in that tree? Is that Manny Pacquiao? But wait a minute. So now here's where I break it down even more. Is it a Filipino thing to have long toes that can grab and pick things up? Or here's a breakdown. Or because they're a mixture of Asian and Spanish. So is it the Spanish that can grab things? Or is it the Asian that grabs things? Because the Spanish coming from Europe, they like to take things. So when if I can steal your land with my two hands and my feet, I'm grabbing stuff.
I'm just gonna colonize you with all of my fingers and toes.
Yeah. Which also is good if so you work in maintenance or housekeeping or whatever. You can pick up stuff with your feet and put it in the.
So nobody would. Oh, so like if cameras were on you, they would never know because you're like, I'm gonna snatch this with my feet.
No, not steal, but cleaning up. You can just grab all your hands and grab things.
Well, no, but you save your back. Like, and as you get older, I pick up things with my feet all the time. Like, and I start wondering if something is worth picking up. Like, if I drop, like, say 75 cents, I'm like, does it really worth the effort? No.
Wow, big spenders leaving 75 cents on the.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just like maybe 80 cents I might bend over for that. Like 75% and under, I'm just like, it's too much effort. This is kind of like an FBI skill. You know how FBI is like, they can read people if they're lying and they have tells. What if we could break down people's body parts and then we could analyze them? It'd be like we could make big money at a circus and be like, I'm going to tell you exactly your ethnicity. You don't need 21andMe, which is like $150 for the kit. Just give me $50 and I'm going to tell you, show me your toes.
And it's such a weird thing, but I guess eventually you could, because so like the NFL draft is just happened, and they had the NFL Combine. They study every piece of that player before they draft them, like long arms, big wide hips, or the speed. So when they talk about these players, they go, "Oh, he has strong hands and he has violent hands." I was like, "Wow, they really broke it down." So maybe you're right there. Yeah,
Let's just stereotype all kinds of cultures based off of their body parts. That sounds like a wonderful next episode. What do you think?
that's totally Hawaii comedy.
Let's just get canceled in
Boom.
a second podcast.
Yes. Thank you guys for joining us. We hope you guys had a wonderful time. Please follow, like, and share. And if you have any suggestions, message us. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll do more. And signing off, I'm James Monty, and she is
I'm Dani.
808 Viral, the podcast. Peace out.